Welcome to Movies That Matter, the podcast about recent films going above and beyond the call of box office returns to boldly explore a social issue affecting people's lives. I'm Nicole Finari.
And I'm Christopher Robinson.
Welcome back, Christopher. What movie are we going to overanalyze this week?
8th grade.
13-year-old Kayla, played by Elsie Fisher, endures the tidal wave of contemporary suburban adolescence as she makes her way through the last week of middle school, the end of her thus far disastrous 8th grade year before she begins high school. Playing her endearing father is Josh Hamilton, and the movie was directed by first-time director and comedian Bo Burnham. What did you think?
It was okay, but I'm coaching that very well.
Okay.
Let's start with the good things.
Okay.
I think
positive notes, always good.
I think the actress was wonderful. I think the acting was good all around, decent, and they did a very good job with the kids.
Okay.
I enjoyed that aspect. The directing, he tried to make things kind of interesting, but it's kind of like the quirky interesting that you see in every first director's
Yeah, like way too much use of aperture.
Yeah.
And you're like, to create a mood of isolation. And I'm like, I can't remember. I remember complaining about this on a podcast before, and I don't even remember which one it was, but I was like, this is overused. This is an overused technique.
The one thing I did like was when she was at the dinner table on her phone and you heard the music blasting, so we really put you in her space. Mm-hmm. So they did a very good job, like some tricks like that, to putting you in her space. Like when she went to, I guess we can go directly to the pool party, like when that whole, like...
So she gets invited... This was a very confusing scene. So I'm going to break this down for people. And if people have opinions about this, let me know, because I was confused.
Right.
She gets invited to this pool party at a popular kid's house.
By the popular girl's mother, because her mother is probably thirsting for the father.
Right. But then when you're at the party, the girl has a dad who is also at the party.
Oh, he was I assumed he was an he was like divorcee.
Was she hitting on Kayla's father or not?
Yeah, she was hitting on Kayla's father.
It seemed like it, but then I was confused.
Yeah, I think it was a divorced dad. Dad, the way he talked to her. Well, like, I had to wake up early in the morning to get this cake, and I got it all over me, like he's frustrated to be back in that's my interpretation.
We needed to spend way too much time on a very minor plot detail, though, I will say, to get to that point. So, okay, so she's at the pool party.
And I liked how they filmed it, because first I was thinking, okay, does he have anxiety issues? Because I know that read later on that the director had anxiety issues when she's panicking in the bathroom.
That might have been the worst filmed panic attack I've ever seen.
Oh, wow, you're harsh.
Because it was so, again... just like shifting focus a lot. She's having a panic attack. This is very destabilizing. It was by the numbers.
Yeah, but like I said, I came from that. Like, it made a good thing that she's having a panic attack. Why is she panicking so much? And then, oh crap, it's a pool party. Yeah, that makes sense. I would be panicking too. So I had that nice connection there. Yeah,
I guess it's just hard coming off of Sorry to Bother You.
Oh, okay.
Where you're like, this was also a first-time director, and he really was very experimental, and you're like, this was just...
Nothing special.
Nothing special.
And you know it's going to get nominated or something like that.
Okay, so can we just... I need to draw a line in the sand. I'm drawing a line in the sand, Christopher. Here's my line. I think your evaluation on this movie is going to be highly dependent on whether or not you've seen Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Okay.
Have you seen Welcome to the Dollhouse?
I have not seen Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Okay. Because this is a poor man's Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Ah, okay. Who did Welcome to the Dollhouse?
Todd Solondz. I don't actually know how to pronounce his name. Welcome to the Dollhouse is just so much of a better movie. And I think I didn't hate this movie. I'm with you. I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
But I'm like glad because, okay, so part of the Movies That Matter process is that I try not to see or read or hear anything or talk to anyone about the movie so that I go in completely blind. I think that if I had read the glowing reviews for this movie, I would have come out hating it because my expectations would have been raised ridiculously.
Yeah, I didn't read the reviews, but I go to a lot of websites, and they're all saying positive things. I said, okay. And then I heard that there was some buzz around it, and it seemed like there was going to be buzz. And then I saw it, and it's like, and I was like disappointed. It was kind of like American Beauty. I was not happy with American Beauty either, but people loved it.
Well, and we were both met on Lady Bird.
Yeah. Yeah, and
which was better than this.
Like, Lady Bird was significantly better than this. Like, there are certain things that you could see from where he came from. His, like, because he started with YouTube. So that was his big thing. So you understood that culture a little bit. Things that stood out for me that I was... Wow, do we want to go for the entire plot, or...
I kind of do in a second.
Okay.
Can we... I want to clear up get some technical points out of the way. I found this soundtrack totally bizarro world. I did not understand what was happening with it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't know, like, Enya in this movie was like, why am I hearing Enya?
Because you thought it would be cool.
It was so, I just was like, this is contemporary to, like, nobody but maybe I'm almost not even the dad in this movie. I don't think Josh Hamilton is that much older than I am.
No.
I'm like, this is like old people music to, like, now I'm an old person and
the guy's only like 29 or something?
Yeah. And, like, she's 13, right? She's in 8th grade.
2017.
And I was like, why is there Enya? And I found the soundtrack absolutely
baffling.
Yeah, I didn't think it matched anything about it, and I really disliked it.
I see it in the fact that I could, especially in this day and age, people love sampling older stuff. So I could see, like, them taking, it kind of matches that whole YouTube's, like, process of just taking things from other groups and throwing in music from other stuff, but I can understand it, yeah. I
mean, I'll give you that. You know a whole lot more about YouTube than I do, but I just was like, well, this is so weird. Like, this is just tonally strange.
Yeah, there was a lot of interesting... And then, like, if you thought about the movie too much, it broke apart.
Well, so then it should have ended at her graduation. So she has this big triumphant moment. I mean, you can't see my scare quotes that I want to give for the triumphant when she tells off the popular kids.
And then there's the conflict with the popular kid was stupid because, like, I guess that was the point, because the popular kid didn't dislike her, wasn't treating her bad, wasn't a bully. It just didn't care you existed, which is fine. Right.
Like, and again, I want to get into all of that in a second. But just from, like, again, from the technical aspect, the movie should have ended there. And then there was this extra bit with her meeting this other kid who, can we just say, all right, well, let me ask you.
A director surrogate.
What did you think of this, like, then she goes and has, like, a first friend hangout, is that what they call it?
A date. It was a date.
They call it a friend hangout with this, like, weird kid that she met at the pool party.
Yeah, the cool girl's cousin. Gabe.
So what was your interpretation of how...
That was just, I thought it was like a director insert or something like, oh, a geeky kid, like, but you'll find a relationship or find closeness with the geeky kid, which is always frustrating with me, that, because, like, as soon as he first appeared at the pool party, I said, oh, that's going to be the guy she ends up with, because he's a normal guy. He's not a normal guy. He's the geeky kid that is like you, and you're geeky together, and you'll be happy together instead of pining for the hot guy. And I was talking to Kema about this, and she's saying that, yeah, you haven't...
Kema is your wife?
Yeah, Kema is my wife. And she was saying that, yeah, you had this whole, 16 Candles... Like, I want the geeky girl or the plain girl to get with the hot guy, gosh darn it.
I was like, oh, I see this story.
Yeah.
She's going to nice guy TM her for 2 years.
Oh,
and gets
wow.
super angry when she doesn't return his feelings. That's how that plays out in real life.
Oh, no, I thought that they were definitely going to connect.
No, because she wants the hot guy. She's not going to go for this geeky kid. She'll be his friend. He'll develop all these feelings. I was like, I've been in this movie.
This sounds like a little bit of projection.
There's a lot of projection.
I just came off of like they were going to be together, and they matched out with them, and she seemed to get his vibe, and but I just didn't like that. I didn't like that aspect of Patness, so why can't she have a hot guy? And then it
was just totally unnecessary. Yeah, it should have ended at the graduation. Like, it was tacked on.
But they wanted her to be happy and find a guy who get a boyfriend that would be like her. Yeah, I know, stupid.
Didn't work. It was a mistake. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into some of the plot elements and let's talk about what's, to me, at the center of the problem of this movie. So
Okay.
I've read a couple reviews. Everybody was like, oh, she was like the girl in Welcome to the Dollhouse, the girl in Little Miss Sunshine. I was like, no.
What? No, not the girl.
No, she wasn't.
One, I didn't like Little Miss Sunshine, but that's because people kept comparing it to The Host. I love The Host. So, the Korean movie.
So, and then I read a review where the woman, the reviewer, and I'll dig it up and put it in the show notes, called Kayla smart and intuitive. And I was like, she was absolutely neither of those things.
Okay, I will
She
push back
couldn't
on
read
that.
a room for social cues to save her life. And she was dumb.
She wasn't dumb. She was just...
Her YouTube videos, like, were played for comedy because they were so stupid. Because she couldn't say anything coherent or intelligent about a topic.
That's the YouTube. I mean, like, she was trying to hit the things that she sees from other YouTube videos. Like, she's trying to hit, I have to say this part, this part, this part. She was trying to stick to the general script.
But she didn't say anything.
She had nothing really to say until her last video when she said she's going to stop doing videos. Because she realized that she has nothing to say.
I feel like people don't know what 13-year-olds are like. They're not that dumb. She was incredibly unsophisticated and naive. Like, she wasn't...
I will push back on how naive she was. I think that she was pretty self-aware. Like, she was... Yeah, I think she was pretty self-aware. She was
self-aware. She just didn't understand other people.
Oh, she understood, like, so the whole thing... Wait, she has the guy with the best-looking eyes, Aiden, who's supposed to be the dreamy crush. And he is totally a 13-year-old, and but he has dreamy eyes, quote unquote. Please, if you can't see me, I am rolling my eyes on this.
Well, it doesn't matter, because I will tell you this, whenever a straight guy wants to talk about an attractiveness of another guy, like, they use the word dreamy. Yeah. No woman has ever used the word dreamy in her
Pretty
life.
Much. Yeah, it's our...
It's your code.
It's our code. Like, please, come on. I'm trying to interact here. I don't know what I'm doing. But he was just... Like, she said, oh, wait, he likes, like, nudie pics? I will say, oh, I'm going to really let you see my nudie pics. And then she was trying to talk, and you saw him perk up like every teenage boy, because teenage boys are stupid. We really are.
She was, the problem for me with this movie was I was not at all rooting for her, She wasn't very likable.
Really? I didn't think she was dislikable. She was just a teenage
She
girl.
was a blank. She never talks. She is quiet. She never says anything.
Wait, is she more likable or less likable than the girl from Lady Bird? Because I hated the person from Lady Bird.
But you're kind of supposed to dislike her. Okay, so here's the problem that I'll make. That's the comparison that I will make. Because you're thinking about this movie, and I'm like, I did see it with two other people, one of whom, a young woman, did find Kayla very relatable. So she was painfully shy when she was that age, and she really related. And I was like, why doesn't she have any friends? She's not, like, weird enough, or smells, or her parents are super duper, like, poor, or... Like, there's no reason why every kid would ostracize her. Like, why does she have zero friends?
I think that's a problem with the writing, because there's a few choices that they made, like deciding for it to be a single parent situation was interesting. Maybe just didn't feel comfortable with dynamics like
two parents,
two parent dynamics, but which is different from how he grew up. So I don't know why he chose that. But why would she not have any friends? She was definitely into. If you looked at her old 6th grade box, she was into drama. She had a picture of a Hamilton calendar on, and she kept ticket stubs and playbill, so she was a drama kid. And one of the things I know is that she didn't do any drama in junior high school, it seemed, because she wasn't part of the drama club. When they talk about that later on,
she wasn't part of any club or do anything, and why does she have no friends?
Yeah, it was just weird about what happened that she became so introverted.
Yeah, and I was trying to think, and I realized that there's a problem with me trying to think about the kid who had no friends when I was in, like, middle school. That probably, like, if the kid had no friends, I probably don't remember them. But I was like, I don't know anybody who had no friends. And I know kids who were bullied, and I know, it was like, there was none at all. Like, where did she sit at lunch?
By herself. I mean, we saw her at the table, and then she tried to go with the cool kids. And that's what also felt kind of weird to me. There was she didn't hang out with anybody. There's a lot of issues. And that was one of the things I wanted to push back when she says, like, you're so mean to me. I'm thinking the girl didn't care. Why should I care about you? And, like, I can understand, why should the cool girl care about you? She was only forced to invite you because her mother thinks your dad is hot.
Yeah, totally. I was like, she was not at all mean to you.
And the mother
she
called
could
you
have been
yellow shirt. She doesn't even know your name. She just knows your dad's name. And that's like, and the girl, the cool girl, rightfully calls back on her mother. Her name's Kayla, because like that's jerky.
Yeah. So like, and then she meets this high school girl who's like, Olivia. Oh my God, you're so amazing. You're the best. You're so cool. I'm like, what about Kayla would inspire that reaction in anybody?
She was adorable and like non-threatening, and she sat around and she was like a sponge to catch up all that stuff. So I can see that. Oh, I have a little mini me I can like who like likes my cool stuff and thinks I'm super cool. So she was non-threatening. I could see why Olivia, the high schooler, it was during the whole shadowing thing, which is, I had problems with that as well.
That was a weird plot development. I don't believe any school does that, but that's okay.
They do. They do.
So in the movie, all the 8th graders go shadow a high school student for the day. If you're not familiar with this because you're like me and think, what?
Yeah, they do it for a day. My problem with that was that Olivia was theoretically supposed to be a senior. And like, they would never have you shadow a senior.
Yeah, I didn't think that made any sense.
That didn't make any sense at all. And yeah, you wouldn't do a freshman, but you would be a sophomore or a junior, but never a senior, because her like having that whole bond. So she bonds with Olivia. Olivia thinks she's so adorable, and they have a good relationship. But they would never. That means that they can't be able to hang out afterwards because she's going to be going to college. That senior's going to be going to college, and you no longer have a friend. So it makes no sense for even friendship building. There was a lot of plot issues that made no sense. That was a very busy last week of 8th grade because we didn't do sex education during the last week of school.
Yeah,
that never happened. Why would you do the active shooter? They did an active shooter exercise, which I guess is supposed to be edgy and tell us that kids now, this is a new normal. Kids have to deal with active shooters. They did that.
Way to train you on that with 3 days left of school to go.
Exactly. You wouldn't do it then. You would do it during the middle of the year. So there was a lot of timing things that made no sense.
Right. So I was thinking too, I mean, I would almost say unarguably, right? The master of slice of life films is Richard Linklater, right?
Right.
That is what he does. And he does it well.
Yes, he does. Because this wasn't even coming in. This was supposed to be a slice of life.
And this just didn't know how to make us. Didn't.
Wow, this is thinking more negative than I thought it was going to be.
It was like 4-act, and because again, it was like tacked on things.
Tacking things on.
And like he would try to overstep. Like he couldn't just get with the concept of slice of life last week.
Yeah. Puts too much stuff into there. Right.
So then he sacrifices believability to like cram all the stuff in the end.
Yeah.
It just. I mean, it wasn't bad, but
when you think about it, it breaks apart.
Yeah, it really does fall apart. And, there's, I kind of said the same thing last episode, but then I was like, this was just such a fun ride. I did not care.
Right.
Like sometimes a movie doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
But you're like, okay, I get that it has its flaws, but my brain was I just liked it too much.
Right. And
this did not have that.
Yeah, this one, I mean, there was some good things, like her burgeoning, budding sexuality type thing going through with that. That was kind of adorably cute because she did a good job of selling that.
The acting was impeccable.
Yeah, she did a great job.
I will give you on that. She did a great job. Josh Hamilton did a great job. I can't fault anybody in this movie.
It was cute with her whole, like, her kissing her hand, trying to think about her hot boy, and then her dad walks in and she throws her phone and smashes it. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was cute. The banana scene. I will say this, too, though, like...
She sold that, like, how much she hated bananas.
Yes. I mean, again, though, like, if you're going to make cringe comedy, maybe go back in time, maybe Born in England. Right? Like, the British do cringe comedy
well.
better than the Americans have ever done in their life.
Well, she just needed to learn how to have locks on her doors and not do things in the kitchen. So, yes.
Well, there's also just, like, the editing,
Oh, okay.
too, of just, they know how to, like, let you sit in discomfort and let it take last. Yes. And you're like, I'm uncomfortable. And then, like... And you're like, okay, I'm still uncomfortable. Like, cut to something else.
Cut to something else. I don't want to see her uncomfortable.
Yeah, and this one, they let you off the hook a little bit too quickly. Like, and I'm just like, oh, an English person would have lingered the camera and just let you sit in how much you want to have the earth open up and swallow you up so you can get out of this move. Like, out of a moment that is literally happening to other people who are not real, but you're still like, oh my God.
It was
like,
funny when she threw the banana at her dad. Yeah. And the dad's like, what did I do?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
There's good moments.
It did. Again, I really do feel like it's very hard if you saw Welcome to the Dollhouse, which was just so brilliantly done. And in Welcome to the Dollhouse, like, she's weird. Her brother's weird. Their parents made them weird. Maybe I could relate to that. And so that, like, her being, like, unpopular
makes sense
because she's just this, like, odd duck of a kid. And this, you're like, again, why doesn't she have any friends? Like,
she's super quiet. That was the thing they're going. That she went to the superlative, and she was really upset about that for most quiet because he doesn't talk or do anything in school. So, which I can see. And then, like, that comes back into the whole issues I was having with the school, was, like, drawing out. Kids are always on their cell phones, and that's a fact these days. And I was just weirded out but a lot of the schools, at least the elementary schools and junior high schools, they don't let you have your phone out in class during the class.
I thought that was weird, too.
They will lock you, because, like, kids are playing video games all the time, or playing Fortnite.
I mean, I know I would have.
Yeah.
I was doing the crossword puzzle because we didn't have that kind of technology in my day.
Exactly. So they wouldn't let you have your phone out all the time. So that was kind of breaking it apart. Kids would be, and the whole thing is that when the popular girl and the other girl are on their phones, doing things and they're not paying attention to her, I said, yeah, that seems about fair, but don't take it personally. That's what everyone does. They're always on their phone. When I talk to a younger kid, Kema has a younger cousin who's 12 years old. She's on her phone all the time. I totally understand that. That's what you do. Like, that's what kids do. And I did like that aspect with her. So she would stay up late at night doing social media and looking at YouTube videos and things like that. That felt real to life. So he did capture things like that.
It did, but it felt to me like, and maybe someone argued that I saw the movie with, which was like, well, I think that was the point, that even we think the world has changed so much, but it really hasn't. I'm like, okay, but if you were going to make this movie and then have her have a YouTube channel and have her be so active online, like, it really didn't have anything
to do about active online?
Yeah, like, that wasn't really a part of the movie in a way where I thought, like, you're really saying something about how things are different for kids today.
Well,
and again, maybe the point was to say, well, nothing's different. I'm like, I don't feel like that's true, though.
They are online, and it would have been nice because she would have friends online or people that she's following all these people online, and she types in their comments, stuff like that. She doesn't get any comments herself. She seemed to be more energetic online, at least, but maybe she's just a watcher and just like a stalker type thing of just watching other people's videos and commenting on their videos and stuff like that. But I did like those aspects. I see kids staying up until late into the night, watching YouTube and watching videos and doing social media. I can totally understand that. I watch way too much YouTube myself, and I can understand that mindset. But the director came from YouTube, and I think he understands the YouTube culture a little bit better, and the whole Instagram culture a little bit better. So I think that was right. The focus on technology and people always on their phone and not being able to really connect. But it was just weird that
But it wasn't about that.
Yeah, exactly.
It like
he wanted to be about that, but he didn't really.
He didn't pull it off.
No.
And I want to get back to Lady Bird, and I want to kind of shift the conversation into this moment we're having about making movies about young girls and what it means and all that stuff. So, the thing with Lady Bird is that she is an unlikable character.
Yes.
She's an obnoxious teenager. Mm-hmm. But
this girl's an angel, basically. I mean, she's somewhat obnoxious. But
as the movie unravels, from what you see in Lady Bird, she has basically an emotionally abusive mother.
Yeah.
Brought on by the incredible stress of her dad losing his job, and money being really tight.
Yes.
Plus, the dad is depressed and basically emotionally absent from the household.
Correct.
So, again, it's about the dynamic of that family and how they're going through this really difficult time and how this teenager is not at all coping with it.
Yeah, this one is more about Daddy was super dad and he did everything. And,
right. They give you no reason for why she's so... She's not
was
screwed
never part
up.
Of the picture. Yeah. She's perfectly normal.
She's perfectly normal. So then you're like, why is she having so much trouble?
Well, I think anxiety was the whole thing. She's perfectly normal, but she doesn't have her mom, but she never grew up with a mom because the mom left when she was a baby before she could walk. So she was never part of the life.
It's like if her best friend had just moved away and that's why she was going through this adjustment, which is totally another movie that I cannot think of. Apologize, viewers.
Right,
listeners.
But you needed a moment that
it just didn't. Yeah, you're like.
I guess the moment was supposed to be her finding her box and realizing that she hadn't done anything for the last 2 years, from her being 6th grade to 8th grade, and she was nowhere where she wanted to be. So that was the crisis moment for her.
I just feel like they tried to make her every kid, and then they made her no kid.
Okay.
In that way.
I think the actress did a good enough job that she was able to pull off the problems with the writing. Yeah, it stems from the script. But she was charming enough that she could make you feel for the child. But you're right that these are...
But then it created that disconnect of she was charming enough, you're like, why is she such an outcast?
Yeah, exactly. That was your major thing, is that, why is she such an outcast?
No, my major thing was she was dumb.
Wow. You find...
I really felt like it did a disservice to 13-year-olds everywhere.
I didn't find her to be dumb enough. She was smart enough to realize she was in a bad situation. Are we going to talk about the car thing?
Yeah, I do want to talk about the car thing.
Okay.
She was not smart enough to realize she was in a bad situation.
She realizes early on that she was in a bad situation, and she
shouldn't have insisted the girl stayed in the car if she thought it was going to be a bad situation.
Well, the girl was not early on. The girl was...
She literally realized it was a bad situation the moment it became a bad situation.
Yeah.
She didn't get points for that.
Sorry.
That's not intuition.
Fair. She realized it was a bad situation when he stopped the car and comes to the back and says crap. Because he could go for a mindset. She's like, oh, I am in such a bad situation when he stops the car. The friend, and I was saying so she has this great time hanging out with high schoolers and they're really cool. So they're dropping her off, and the friend Olivia that she had that great bonding with gets dropped off first, and then the guy says, oh, I'll drop off Kayla. And then I said, oh, crap. And he's thinking in your mind. And then he pulls over and basically just tries to, just be...
Very kindly give her first time.
Exactly.
Which is no, there was nothing kind about it.
He's doing the nice guy thing, and
to a T. So that's what I wanted to say.
Creepy.
They do a couple of really good things in that scene for a movie that I didn't think was written particularly well.
That she has to apologize. She's apologizing.
He does two classic manipulation techniques. Mm-hmm. He does typecasting.
Yeah.
He goes, "You're no fun," so now she has to prove that she is fun.
Yes.
So
he learned from the pickup line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to get into my recommendation for the episode, but yeah. So two very classic Predator things. He does that, and he does.
And then he makes her apologize. I was going to do this for you, and now you were going to have a good experience, and now you're going to have a crappy experience.
Yeah, he makes himself the victim.
Yeah, that I was trying to help you by Now, no,
so then she ends up having to apologize for rejecting him.
And then she has to say, please don't tell Olivia.
Right.
Yeah.
So...
the friend. And the worst thing is that he's, like, this is what really stuck to it. He's 18, so 18, he's trying to pick up or 17 and trying to pick up a 13-year-old.
It's illegal either way.
Either illegal either way, and super creepy, and just, like, ugh. And, like, he was just so wrong. He tries to get out, like, oh, let's play a game. Let's play Truth or Dare. And then, like, she's smart enough to realize, I'm going to keep saying truth.
The other thing he does, loan sharking.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so he takes his shirt off, as it implies now she's in debt to Tim. She has to take hers off. So he tries that. I was like, they had everything out of, like, a Predator's handbook. And then part of me was like, so then she does stand up for herself and she's like, no, don't touch me. I don't want to do this.
Yes.
And nothing bad ends up happening to her. And you're like, well, you showed us how she was willing to give blowjobs.
Oh, that's different.
Possibly do nudie photos for the guy she has a crush on.
Yeah, because he had a crush on versus a guy who's trying to press her into sex he has no interest in.
I'm like, the psychology of this somehow doesn't add up for her. Like, where does she have this reserve of strength all of a sudden?
This reserve of strength that was a creepy, unattractive guy trying to press against. I mean,
yeah,
she's always had strong
will.
You
are so wrong about that.
No, but I think
every way.
Oh wait, okay. I think they showed that she has a reserve of strength a few times during the movie. Like when she went out, going out into the water and going into the pool to go out and go out into the pool and hang out with people. Then when she's partying, she's calling her dad to pick her up and everything. And then her whole hottie boy says something to her. She goes to, she says, oh, I'm going to show my courage. And she does that whole voiceover with her showing her courage. And she does her whole karaoke thing with her, which is that when she was really willing to do something, she's willing to stand up for herself.
No, she's willing to make any attempt she can to ingratiate herself with other people, proving my point that even though he was creepy and older, she still would have gone along with it because she didn't have the self-esteem to do it. Like, you kind of can't have it both ways in this one. Like, that's not how it works when you're a 13-year-old girl.
See, I guess I just see there's a difference there in that she tried to, everything that she was trying to do, especially when she's trying to ingrain herself with other people, she took control of the situation. It was always her putting herself out, like that whole, like, I'm going to do nudie photos, like, oh, oops, I have nudie photos that I'm going to do. She had a lot of she was very strong-willed, and she was very in self-control of how she would approach situations. She wanted to do it on her own terms. This guy was totally going on against her own terms.
Okay, faking that you have nudie pictures to impress a guy is absolutely not doing anything on your own terms.
I'm saying that she set up the whole situation, that she went over there, that she found out something that she thought the guy liked, and thought that, okay, I can get myself into the situation like this. She made a plan forward about she was going to talk to him during the whole shooting.
I'm not saying she doesn't have any agency.
Yeah, but I'm saying that she actively...
I'm just saying somebody who's that desperate for attention is desperate for attention.
But she's desperate for attention.
Any attention, no.
See, I think that came off that she was only desperate for certain attention.
Plus, trying to impress Olivia in terms of the don't tell Olivia, like feeling like she needed to go along with it. I mean,
she was telling Olivia, don't tell Olivia because I don't want Olivia to think about Olivia for what she cared about. And that's the thing that really frustrated me about that thing, is that ruined any relationship she could have with Olivia.
Who's going to college next year.
Right.
So who cares?
She wanted to have a relationship with Olivia because Olivia was her first person who seemed to think that she was cool.
Yeah,
You felt that there was too much of a disconnect. You didn't think that she was strong enough.
They didn't think through her backstory, and therefore all her actions don't quite link together.
Okay.
They don't know. I don't know what the writer's backstory was. Again, I will say that one person I saw the movie with did find Kayla very relatable, but I was like, this is not what it's like to be 13.
Okay.
I just didn't. This was so not anything like what it was like to be 13. in my mind. And I know I'm a long ways away from it,
Right.
but I didn't find her story. I found it, again, it was trying to be universal. And so then it sacrificed any specificity. She was too poorly drawn.
Okay. I can somewhat see that.
And I think I've just seen a rash of movies. This, Lady Bird, Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Don't understand what a 13-year-old is.
Yeah, everyone's... And in the case of Lady Bird and...
Oh, she was older, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, teenage girls. Like, in the case of Lady Bird and 8th grade, it's like you're just giving people points for making a movie about a girl. And that's just annoying.
Oh, yeah. This is when he's going to get the Oscar bait because he didn't tell his story. He told a story about a 13-year-old girl, which has to be really, really important because he told the story. And, like...
No. But if you don't tell it well, then I'm not giving you any points for it.
I agree. I mean, like, the one thing I did, like, he tried to keep it in her mind's headspace. The movie in her headspace, which he did a good job of doing.
I don't know. It was like It was like reading Room. Do you know how old it gets to have your narrator be like a 5-year-old kid who's never seen the world? Like, at first you're like, everyone's like, oh, it's so great. I was like, that got old fast. It was just really annoying. And that kid talked about breastfeeding all the time, which I'm sorry was gross. I apologize to anybody who's like attachment parenting, but ew.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, I don't want to be inside a 13-year-old girl who's this bland.
Okay. You wanted her to have a little bit more...
Personality. She had zero personality.
I thought she had personality, but yeah, I thought she definitely had personality. I felt that she had personality.
Right.
The actress did a good job.
The actress brought something that was not there.
I will give
you that.
Okay.
And like you said, you open up her box and she has like, she's clearly interested in theater. You're like, where was that kid? Like,
yeah, well, she's not doing that now.
She has hobbies and interests. This kid has, apparently she played softball. Like, it's the end of the year. I don't know.
Yeah. That the whole, yeah, there was definitely issues with the writing. Definitely, like you said, too much trying to fit into a slice of life and not understanding life. I really, really didn't like that whole, she finds a dorky kid is supposed to, that she's going to meet up. And I said, like, oh, really? You're going to do that? How about you, or you could have her not have a boyfriend and not have a positive experience. I did like her trying to figure out her sexuality and coming to terms with it. I did like that they made God to be a really, really sick person of a joke. But she said, please, God, let make this day go great. I really want this day to go great. You can give me crappy days later on, but as long as you make this day go great, it works out. So she has a great day. And then she gets stuck in the car with a pervy dude trying to get her to strip. So kudos for that writing aspect. So
yeah, I guess, again, though, like, in sort of the bigger picture sense, I think, I don't know, it's like everybody's getting a free pass. Yes. On telling stories that we've decided are important, and then they don't tell them well, and I'm like...
Yeah, I can see you're going to be very upset when this gets nominated.
I mean, it came out in the summer, so I'm not super worried.
Okay.
But... and I would actually, again, give it... I mean, well, I don't like nominating kids for stuff, but...
Yeah, she did a good job.
She did a good job.
I think everyone did a good job.
Yeah, I can't... And I think... To point of fact, like, a good actor brings something that isn't actually on the page.
Right.
But I feel like we're in a moment, it's, you know, where we're paying more attention to teenage girls and taking them more seriously. Like, they're not fodder for, like...
slasher movies.
Well, and the minute teenage girls like anything, it's suddenly, like, terrible.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about... one of the people that we both enjoy, Lindsay Ellis.
Yeah. That Lindsay Ellis video. And it was really eye-opening how she played that out.
Shout out to Lindsay Ellis because she's awesome.
Yes, she is awesome. And, like, I was sort of like, she's right. Like, if something is liked by teenage girls, then it must be terrible. It was her. Yes. It was her episode on Twilight.
Exactly, yeah.
Which... So it's like, okay, so we're finally taking teenage girls seriously. And I just hope the next...
I think we are.
I just hope the next thing that comes out.
Because I still make fun about teenage girls, but I think...
But I think you're right about adding the, like, burgeoning sexuality. And it was age appropriate to her being a very, very late bloomer 13-year-old, right? Yeah. Like, it's very clear that she's not, like, So I didn't need them to go whole hog on anything, and I thought that was really good.
And my mom sent an article about how MPAA, this is rated R because of the sexuality aspect and the language.
Of what?
Exactly.
Oh, when it's a teenage girl's sexuality.
You get an R.
You get an R.
Yeah, exactly. But you can get a PG-13 for
any
Girls Out
teenage
comedies.
boy, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of...
Yeah.
It was
weird. The hypocrisy of the MPAA.
Exactly.
Good for your mom for spotting that. I didn't notice that. I never paid attention.
Because I didn't realize it was a PG. I was thinking, like, because it didn't feel like some language, but, like, it made sense for the time because kids are going to curse. And these are really good points where cursing would make sense.
Yeah, and I don't remember the cursing being over the top.
It wasn't over the top. It was completely natural and made sense.
Yeah.
But I was guessing because she was looking up how to pleasure someone on YouTube. Orally pleasure someone on YouTube.
Oh, do you think I'm going to have to give us an R rating if we say the words blowjob?
I just don't feel comfortable. I'm a prude. You understand?
Yes, I'm trying to be prudish on the podcast actually because I don't want to have to hit the explicit content button.
So it was just, and that was like, yeah, that's what a kid would do to figure out because they go to.
I know that's a funny thing, right? Like that is the one like technology thing where I was like, things have changed since my day. I couldn't Google how to give a blowjob.
Yeah, these kids.
All right. On that note,
so how are we going to rate this thing?
I don't know. Let me make you go first. So we got to give
what?
a social impact score between 1 and 10, and I just don't.
Oof. I mean,
I just don't know.
I want to listen to his comedy to get a better understanding of the director.
Okay.
And that's going to be hard. Because I don't think he's my type of comedian. I'm gonna give this a 3, mainly because of it's probably gonna. I would not be surprised if there's some type of nomination, and people Hollywood patting themselves on the back for those reasons that you mentioned. Oh, we're talking about a 13-year-old girl, and therefore it's important.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason it will have an impact at all.
I just don't know. I don't know. I like want to abstain. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Right.
I feel like this movie should be a blip, and so I'd give it a 3. But you're right. It's gotten so much attention.
Yeah.
So maybe a 5. So all right, tell us something we should see, read, hear. Recommendation for this week.
Okay. I guess it's it's still out in theaters. I loved Won't You Be My Neighbor because
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers is awesome.
I am going to recommend, this one it gets recommended a lot on advice columns, and I'm an advice column junkie, but I did read Gavin de Becker's The Gift of Fear.
Okay.
I will caveat and say people take real issue with how he treats domestic violence in this book.
Okay.
Having said that, he names all of those things, typecasting, loan sharking. He very clearly shows you how someone is testing your boundaries to see if they're wanting. And so you can have an early indication that somebody is a boundary pusher. And I think having names for those things and calling out the behaviors really makes it a lot easier for you to spot it when it's happening to you. Okay, well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Movies That Matter. If you did, please take a second to leave a review on iTunes and recommend it to your friends. Check out moviesthatmatterpodcast.com for links to things we've discussed and to visit our store. If you want to talk to us, leave a comment on our Facebook page or on Twitter with our tag @MoviesMatterPod. And remember to check on Off Thursdays what weekend movie you should be seeing to prepare for the next episode. And remember, movies matter.
And so do you. Gucci!